pretty. Close that. How's everyone doing? Hello, hello. We are going to head into a meditation right off the bat, unless anybody has something pressing that they would like. And here's, say hi, Ali. Come here, Ali. Oh, hi, Courtney. Oh, she's going to fly around a little bit. Fly around. She's so cute. She's getting cuter and cuter and cuter every day. And she's getting really good at she's getting more agile and able to move around. Oh, she just was on the camera. That's why it moved around a little bit. There she is. Yeah. So, would you guys like to head into a meditation, or does anyone need something right up front? Just let me know. Do you want to meditate? She loves meditating. Okay. All right, then. So it seems like maybe you guys are game. It is, I like this one a lot. Reset, meditation, and mindset management. Can always use that. So you guys ready to go? Hi, Holly. Requester? Did you change your name? That's an interesting. We're going to do a meditation, just a 20-minute one. Okay, great. Here we go. I'm going to put this in. Welcome to your sacred practice. In this meditation, we will be moving into a brand new state of being, a reset, rebirth, stepping into a clean slate and allowing ourselves to be in a complete state of grace and pure potential. We will be utilizing language to call in different states of being to facilitate this reset, this experience of being reborn. From the metaphysical and even the quantum physical perspective, time is an illusion. And so in each limitless eternal now, we are pure potential. And so we will utilize language in this particular practice. We will use an acrostic to inspire new states of being. The acrostic will be the word reset. And I will guide us all in the experience of calling in these new states and coming out the other end, completely reborn, being pure potential, pure consciousness, and a highly charged and highly activated state of grace. And so let us begin by connecting with the breath. At your own pace, you may bring in 3 divine breaths, activating conscious breath and marrying conscious with subconscious by engaging in the breath. Allowing that breath to begin to soothe, calm, relax the body and the energy. Allowing the intention of relaxation, calm, and activation of the full mind, the higher mind, to inform will. Will is thought, and thought will come into abeyance. of that soothed energy. And continuing your deep and easy breath, I will now guide us in a visualization and an imagining, utilizing our imaginal powers. Thus is the function of the subconscious mind and the plane of pure potential. And continuing to stay connected to that deep and easy breath, allow yourself to visualize, pretend, or just have a sense of a magical sphere of energy just before you. You're standing just outside it, this sphere of energy. Perhaps you see it as light or just a texture of energy. And whatever size it is now, we're going to allow the breath to expand it. Allow the expansion to be larger than your being. And breathing deeply, the sphere will respond and expand. You're standing outside it, and just before you, it will expand on your inhale, and on your exhale, it will maintain its expanded space. And if the representation of light or sound is coming to you, just allow your awareness to ask the question of what it may look like, sound like, or feel like. Any and all of your inner sensing is exactly what you need to activate this magical sphere. And perhaps on a certain inhale, it expands beyond the size of your being. And it becomes a bit more stationary, although it is quite alive. Quite alive with awareness, consciousness, and connection. And if you would allow your curiosity to build about this sphere and feel in your heart that you are welcome to walk and stand inside the sphere, this magical sphere which has the power to shift states, the states that you call in. And so now allow yourself to walk into the sphere, or perhaps the sphere moves forward and encompasses you. And allow yourself to experience, to just be curious about a very pleasant state of being, an empowered and connected state of being, a clean slate as you stand, or hover, or suspended in this magical sphere of energy. And now, completely encased in this sphere, we will begin the practice of shifting into different states of being. And the first state that we call in is release. Release. The state of release is one that is actually quite empowered, as you will release only that which you no longer need to carry. Release is a state that makes you stronger, as you release any tension, any burden, any illusion of that which is no longer serving you. The illusion that it must stay a part of your field is very easily released. There is not even any need to identify what it is that you are releasing. For in this intelligent and activated magical sphere, all that is meant to be released is easily released. Release. And now, moving from release, we call in the state to expand. Expand. And that which is expanded in you with this intention, with this calling in of this state, that which is expanded is all of the good, the positive, and the true. The truth of your being. For that which is true in all perspectives, all time and space. It is universally true. The truth of soul energy, the truth of love, unity. Expand, and you may experience this expansion from the core of your being. And perhaps as you are experiencing this state to expand, you notice that the magical sphere is changing in its tonal frequencies or color or feeling sense. It is facilitating and amplifying the state that you call in. Expand. And in this expanded state, now calling in the next state. Surrender. Surrender. To surrender is to surrender to the control that already exists in the benevolent universe. To surrender means to allow yourself to move easily into the flow of giving and receiving. Surrender is a state that feels so comforting, so peaceful, and so activated and empowering at the same time. Surrender is a state of alignment. Surrender. And now calling into your sphere and to your being, the state to emerge. Emerge. As you call in this state, you are emerging as your true self. Your universally true self. All of the divine desires, the divine directives upon the soul emerge at this time and integrate into your action as you continue to emerge in each eternal now of your journey. In the state of emergence, you alchemize all time and space, all lessons, all learnings, any challenge that has been or will be, come into complete alchemy with the state of emergence, and so emerge. And calling in the next state into this magical sphere, into your feeling and being state. Transform. Transform. The energy of transform means to move from one state into a state of matter. Trans means to travel between, and form means to create. And so calling in the state to transform. You may be transformed yourself, and you may also be one who vibrates the frequency of transformation as you move about your journey, mingling with others, other beings, other aspects of this created plane. Transform, holding this frequency so purely. And once again, visiting the states of this journey, of this very magical sphere that you have called in to assist and to amplify, release, expand, surrender, emerge, transform. And you may allow the sphere to continue to accompany you throughout your walking upon your path. Or you may allow it to resorb into your field, always being a resource that you may activate at any time. The choice is yours. And now you stand in complete peace and the grace of reset and renewal, rebirth in every moment. And so you are invited to go and to continue to be in grace. All right. Coming on back. Hello, everyone. I'll give you guys a second to come on in. Holly, have you even seen my bird yet? Aliel? I don't know if you've been in because you've been in and out, and maybe when I've seen you, I'm not sure if you've met her. She likes to sit on the microphone. That's really cool, Bittinger. You have, Holly. Okay. All right. Well, we are going to head into a lesson now, and of course we will have time for our. Oops, I opened it in the wrong thing. We will have time to connect afterwards, so I hope you can hang out. Just getting my notes in front of me. We are going to be learning about facilitating group meditation. I hope you guys are excited about it. And many of you may be already experienced in doing this. Sorry, as I'm slow, just making sure. I have been having Mercury retrograde, and it's like I really have learned to embrace it and enjoy it. And just take it as just an opportunity to slow down and to, review all of the REs, right? And so, just have to do less sometimes. And that's a good thing too. Anyway, saying that is like, I was having some issues today. And so that's why I'm a little triple checking things. So, okay, let's have a lesson then, shall we? This lesson is about facilitating group meditation. This will give us an overview of the process. Now, there is much more than the process. There's a lot of creativity. There's a lot of intuition. There is a lot of connecting with those you are guiding, your participants, your meditators, to pull through the energy and whatever else it is that will be a part of that facilitation. But this is going to be a sort of overview, more of the analytical view of it. And in that, hopefully, whether you are brand new to leading meditation, whether for individuals or groups, or if you're experienced, you'll discover something to, just dig a little deeper into. That's my intention, is that we'll all learn something. So, having said that, I do have a PDF. I have a bird, and she's with us today. I have a PDF that is accompanying this, and I will also be using it in this particular presentation. So let's talk about now. Let's have a look at. We're going to use my PDF as the guide for this lesson. Leading a group meditation. And there is a difference to consider when leading a group as opposed to leading an individual. And some of this consideration is covered in a lot of the other lessons that we have on hypnosis, because in fact, meditation is a kind of hypnosis being the really broad category. And I will, that is addressed, some of those differentiations, what you really need to consider when you are addressing a group is something that we look at the very end here. So, leading group meditation. In this overview here, we're going to look at some steps. Now, the pre-session is kind of obvious, but it's good to remember to put into whatever it is that, however you are delivering a group meditation. You could be doing it online, you could be doing it in person. And the pre-session is, of course, to prepare yourself and the space. So this is talking about before you even have your group, those who would be who you're guiding. Prepare yourself in this space. We want to, of course, make sure we have a comfortable, a quiet space, free from interruption, perhaps including any kind of comforts that can allow a group, the individuals, to be able to feel a sense of serenity in the space itself. Now, you might have some soft music playing as they come in. Perhaps it could be that there are chairs or yoga mats or meditation pillows that they could sit on. It's also a good idea to have a couple of options. Some people are not comfortable sitting on the ground. And some people, really prefer to sit on the ground and not on a chair. I'm actually not very comfortable sitting on a chair. I only sit in a chair to teach, but it's a sense of keeping myself really straight and in a grounded kind of presentation for you guys. But pretty much every time I do anytime I do anything else, I am sitting on the ground or virtually on the ground. Like when I sit on a couch, I have my legs folded up as if I'm sitting on the ground. So I meditate by sitting in a lotus position, or I might recline a little bit. Now, since we're in on this subject, I'm gonna go ahead and mention the fact that when you are leading group meditation, there is an tendency to provide the option for people to lie flat on a yoga mat. When I am guiding meditation in person, obviously, that's when that would come into consideration. I am always certain to let everyone know, you can lie back if you like, and just know that that could be sending the message to your body to go to sleep. And so I swear to you, when I teach meditation in person, and I will give that cue, I will let people know that, and it seems to be almost every single time, at least one person will lie down, and therefore at least one person will fall asleep. Now, sometimes a few people will lie down and they don't fall asleep. But you know what? I let them know that that sense the that could be sending the message to your body that it's time to go to sleep. It's not to say that you won't get the benefit of it. However, if you would, like to have some sort of presence about what had happened in the class, you might want to, instead of lie back, find a comfortable way to sit, and or even just have your head up, because if your head starts to fall down, it will wake you up. So anyway, considering what you might provide for them, and maybe you want to have it as a rule that they don't lie down, so you don't provide something that will have them lie back completely. So then preparing the space, and then preparing yourself. Um, do your own meditation, ground, take that time to review how you're going to move through this session. Use this time to consciously create the flow of the session. Now, we're obviously in this preliminary session. You would have planned what your subject would be or what some of the imagery would be. And if you're working with people, you really don't want to be reading a script. There are some people who can read a script and sound very natural, and those people tend to be actors. And even actors, then, since you can kind of work with the script really well, then it would be good to just, if you write scripts to start, to kind of consume it, embody it, and then deliver it authentically. Because here's the other thing, is we want to have attunement with the group and allow it to flow according to their needs, which you will know by plugging into their energy and being present with it. So if you're like, wait, I've never done meditation, I've never led meditation, really, I have to be off script and just like wing it, I'm going to fold that into how we would be guiding the whole session. So then, as the group arrives, as the people are there, pre-session, then we have some kind of introduction. We want to do it in a manner that is calm. Even if you started off welcoming people, laughing and greeting people with high energy, right before the meditation is to begin, you already want to start to shift the energy tone and start to bring it into something that is calm and settled and grounded. Now, you'll take a moment and you're actually doing this for yourself, because the state that you're holding is the state that is suggested to the meditators. So briefly explain the purpose or the structure of the meditation. That could be that this meditation is about breath awareness. This meditation is about such and such subject. So this meditation could be about opening your third eye, if it's a spiritual topic. This meditation is about, as the one that we had before this class today, it was mindset management. And so you might have noticed, or maybe you haven't really because you're already meditating when it starts, that when I provide a recorded meditation, I kind of put this part into it. So I may even kind of fold it into after I've formally made the call. I have a key phrase, as you all probably have experienced. My key phrase to begin a meditation, particularly one that is a recorded one, is "Welcome to your sacred practice." And some of you have reported as soon as they hear that, you're already going into state, which is great. I love that. I love that we can be really efficient. So even after I would say, "Welcome to your sacred practice" on an audio recording, I would do this part then. This practice is to serve blah, 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 whatever that might be. In this journey, you will be guided to experience blah, blah, blah. So this is assuming that it is before you start the meditation, but we're already starting to segue into the tone of the meditation. And you know what? Just a little side note, I didn't even think about this as an additional awareness that we could fold into this lesson. If you're recording an audio meditation that you're going to distribute or give to someone, especially if it's not intended for an individual, but it's intended to just whoever's going to be able to receive it, it's like creating a group meditation. So all of these things, if you ever wanted to record meditations to distribute, then you can take this into consideration for that. All right, now the actual meditation session. The first part is we induce them. I also want to give you the heads up that a reminder that we have an anatomy of a hypnosis session in I think it's maybe in about the fifth lesson or module of this course, somewhere around there. But at any rate, you can compare these. There's a slight difference, but there's obviously a lot of overlap too. So this first piece, the first step is the induction to induce them. You would guide the participants into some sort of practice that allows them to direct their attention to, usually it's breath and body. And the point of that is to get them into their body, because we can't really induce ourselves into a deeper state, certainly not of meditation, without embodiment, without grounding and coming into the body, because otherwise we are more of the expanded kind of astral thinking space, in the space of fourth dimension that is not grounded with the body, in the mind. So we use breath and we use body awareness almost every time. I mean, you might use a kind of a different technique that will facilitate that, and I'll give you an example here in a moment of one that maybe you would I won't even say breath, or I wouldn't even say body, but it does actually create that anchoring and awareness of the body. Well, actually, I always say breath, even if it's just let's start with 3 slow and easy, calming, expansive, whatever kinds of breaths, intentional breathing, because that shifts your state. We will be using our soft meditated tone for this, slower pacing, adding pauses, all of this to support it landing and facilitating the capacity to just slow down themselves within their rhythms. A great way to think about this portion of the induction is some kind of progressive relaxation of the physical body, or some kind of body scan. And so I'll give you an example of one that is a bit more creative, which a person may not realize is even a progressive relaxation or a body scan. And I'm just going to describe it so you don't go too much into state, even though you may already be in state. This is an imagery practice, an imagery facilitation, where we create a light, or we find a light within, a light deep within, centering it around the heart or the gut or both, finding that light within and then allowing it to expand. And as it expands, the light that is moving through your energy and your physical body, expanding all the way around 360 spherically, like a sphere, all throughout your energy and your body, is creating a space of calm and soothing and relaxation. So, progressive relaxations tend to go either from head to toe or toe to head, calling out the body parts or the portion of the body and offering awareness to that place, and often suggesting that you are becoming calm, comfortable, and relaxed along with that awareness of shifting through the body. You could also just guide a body scan, which is another way to do a progressive relaxation, by just inviting them to silently scan their whole body. And now I like to sometimes when I do that, invite them to imagine that it's like a laser beam, like a Xerox laser, just to give them the idea of how to trace their body. I typically, even if I did a silent one, so I would say take at your own pace here, just take a few moments to scan your body. Now they may, and I give them the guidance to either go head to toe or toe to head, and they may actually move it around, however they want to, rather than going totally, from top to bottom. Perhaps they just move it all around, and obviously we wouldn't know that unless they shared it afterward. However, we're still offering them the suggestion to get into the body. So, even if you don't suggest that it is relaxing or calming, simply by bringing attention and awareness to the physical body, it is bringing one into the body. It is creating groundedness, and it does soothe and calm and relax, even without suggesting that. So, my sphere expansion, even without saying it, it is again bringing it. Now, it's even though it's not like moving on a certain pace of patterning, like from your head to your jaw to your neck to your shoulders. It's moving out in this full, expansion, a 360, and allowing it to be some form of light. That light is always synonymous with awareness. So, it's kind of got like a few elements here that are bringing in that induced state. Another common one is to move through the chakras. Chakras move along the spinal line, and therefore they move along the body in that linear sense, as well as the seven chakras. They encompass all of the physical body systems and glands, and so again, even if a person isn't aware exactly what the root chakra does, if you're just guiding color and the space of that area, it's just a universal concept that is felt even if someone isn't educated on something like the color rays or the chakra system. So that is the first piece, the induction. And also it can just be breathing. It could just be a nice calm breathing or just asking them to wave the calm and soothing through them. When I do that sphere one that's expanding, I actually usually incorporate the breath so that I say that as you inhale, the sphere is expanding and creating more of a calm and soothed space all throughout your energy and physical body. And then on the exhale, it also expands. So it's expanding with both patterns of the breath and eventually ending to where the sphere has fully encompassed them and is holding them in a gentle, soothing, comfortable, and maybe inspiring space. So there you go. The first piece is the induction. The second piece is to deepen and guide the intention. We're going to introduce the core focus here. And this is in this description, in this guiding of the intention will deepen the induction, will deepen them into the experience. So, what this means is we would be now moving into the piece of what the subject is. If it's imagery, we're walking along the beach and clouds are passing by and you hear birds in the air and there's a certain kind of something, like whatever that imagery piece would be. And or it is something about the energy. Perhaps it is calling in confidence, if that is the purpose of that meditation, or some kind of spiritual intention, which may be connecting with the spirit guide or feeling the presence of your ancestors. And that, so whether it is something with a certain kind of activity, imagery, or kind of energy healing component, what is also happening here is we are activating their inner senses. And so that is also deepening them into the practice, deepening them into the state of meditation. What is also occurring here that also facilitates the unfolding of whatever the intention or subject is, as well as the deepening, is we want to make sure that we have spaciousness built in, silences, and even in your awareness, the state that you're holding, you're imagining holding space. For me, because I am so dominantly clairsentient, I feel myself, my own field expanding. Now, you might be dominantly clairvoyant, and so you might imagine and visualize the space and your space expanding to hold the intention and the shift of what is occurring. Guide them to awaken and enhance those inner senses. And so that would be with all of the inner senses, the inner seeing, inner hearing, inner scent, and the kinesthetic. It's perfectly fine if you are focusing on the visualization, because we all have a dominance of clairvoyance if we have eyes to see. A person who doesn't have physical sight, they still will experience something, because even if you say, imagine a sunny day, a person without physical sight will imagine a sunny day because they have experienced it, you see? So the inner senses will be awakened, and you might mention them, or if you just leave it to that which is, basically creating visualizations, creating imagery that is by pictures and those kinds of descriptions, that will work too, because the other inner senses will come in. But you could deepen it by saying, imagine or sense what the air feels like here, or the quality of the sun on your skin, if it were a nature, imagery that you were utilizing. What kinds of sounds are here? Some people are really dominantly auditory. So piece here, this step 2, you might refer back to a recent NLP lesson where it's in a couple of lessons at least, where we talked about the preferred representational systems. Now, in those NLP lessons, we're talking about the physical senses, but it also, that all has indications of inner sensing too. And so, yeah. And by the way, if you happen to be doing a small group, 5 people, and you got their human design charts, well, you'd be able to see, well, this person is clairaudient and this person is clairsentient. However, everyone is clairvoyant, because it's either an undefined head center, which indicates clairvoyance, or it's defined, which means, and all 3 of those gates that would create definition of the head center indicate clairvoyance. So you see, however you go about it, that clairvoyance is a good default to, or the inner visual sensing. Now, some people have beliefs that they are not able to visualize, and it's a belief. It truly, truly, truly is a belief. So we don't confront beliefs head on. We don't challenge beliefs. So this is why you hear me say a lot, or maybe you don't remember because, again, you're in state, visualize or imagine. And sometimes I say visualize, imagine, or sense. So that if a person somehow has a belief that they don't visualize, imagine, right? So it just gives these different inputs for how to work with them where they are. All right, so that is the second step, second part of our framework. The third is holding space with presence. Now, we're already doing that in the whole meditation, but this is when we actually start to slow and really let everything land. This could be depending on how long the meditation is, it could be a brief moment. However, if your meditation is even 7 or more minutes, you want to have some space where you're actually silent. As a general rule, I would say let's have at least 2 minutes of silence, from not just like silence between phrases or brief silences, of full silence, at least 2 minutes, maybe longer. Now, I would say 10 or more minutes, 2 minutes at least. If it is 5 or 7 minutes, then you might shorten that. But even in a 7-minute meditation, you could do 2 minutes, or you could do 90 seconds or a minute. If it were a 5-minute meditation, definitely have 30, 45 seconds up to a minute, And so this piece of slowing the pace, adding more silences, and this is going to start where we're adding more silences even as we're progressing through the previous stage of the deepening and the intention guidance. And then when we get here, we're starting to really slow so that they can start to do their own exploration. By this time, they are in a deep enough meditative state that they can explore on their own. Now, exploration for some person or for anyone one day might mean absolutely nothing, that we're just basking in the comfort and the calm. On another day or with another person, it might mean that they started climbing a tree in the imagery that you presented, even though you didn't suggest that. You know what I mean? Or that it is receiving messages from their higher self or the guide or whatever it is. We want to start to leave that space, start to let it expand and open up. They'll be integrating during this time too. We actually want to practice restraint of doing too much speaking infrequently, allowing for that internal processing and integration, and recognizing that silence is therapeutic and a key tool. Now, this is where, as I said before I even started this, that if you're wondering, wait, I'm supposed to just make it up as I go along, please remember that you will be connected with your group, and silence is therapeutic and your best friend here. So perhaps you have a framework for what it is that you're going to present, and the silences are going to just help you to just be with it and see what is coming next. This is where your intuitive abilities come in, because perhaps this happens to me a lot. I might plan something ish, you know what I mean? Because I pretty much channel everything, but I might have whether I have a sense of what the meditation is going to be about or not. There's always I get into it and we're gonna do something that I didn't expect, that I didn't plan. That's just how it is for me. And so as you maybe before, I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this kind of induction," but sometimes even I think I'm gonna do this kind of induction, but as soon as I start, we're gonna do a different induction, and you know, it's when I connect with, the space, or perhaps it's when spirit really is given the space to step in. So, this is something to keep in mind, that silence is there for the meditators, and silence is also there for you to be able to channel what will be happening in the next beat that you will be speaking. So you could plan a meditation that's I'm going to do a simple body scan. I'm going to do this kind of breath work. And then I'm going to have them step onto a cloud and go to the other side of the rainbow and discover which color of the rainbow or colors are there to commune with them and give them an attunement or a message. And then I'm going to create some silence. And then I'm going to bring them up and out, which is the last piece. As you're able to be there really present with it, the images or the messages that are the guidance that you will deliver will come in as you're connecting into the space of the group and how we're moving through this journey. That was an example of just creating those silences. So creating silences as we're deepening the experience and then create a period of full silence. Again, it could be 2 minutes. If you're doing a meditation that's like 30 minutes long, you might have 4 minutes of silence, and you might have also had in there 2 other brief silences for 30 to 45 seconds each as you're letting certain things land. It's many different ways that you can integrate the silences. So then our fourth piece here is to guide the return and the waking. We're going to bring attention back to the body, to the breath, or just simply to the time space. Bring attention back to the fact that this is beginning to close. We might offer some kind of grounding on the actual waking part. I tend to, when I'm closing a hypnosis, whether it's group or individual, say, remembering the space that you're in, remembering the room that you're in, returning to your time and space, and maybe some kind of anchoring statement, something that helps it to come into the heart or the body, or even there is you all have probably, again, whether you remember or not, you could have had them receive a token, something that will help them to recognize this activation, an activation symbol or a token. And so at this point, you would say, remembering the token or the anchor that you received. That's like basically touching base with the physical form because they're taking it out with them. And then we want to have some kind of clear way of signifying the end so they know it is time to awaken. This can just be some kind of closing, and we seal this work with gratitude and appreciation. And as it lands, then you want to say, okay, and welcome back, everyone. We want to brighten our tone. We want to bring them to the fully awake experience. So, this is again assuming that we're somehow in person, whether online or physically in person. Another common one is to ring a bell. This one, I've been using this a little bit more frequently, signifying the end of the meditation. And you also, again, as you're welcoming them back, you'll see them kind of like rousing and everything, and start to speak to them in a different tone. That is, it's like the reverse. Because as we've spoken of in some of the hypnosis lessons, an important piece of state work is coming out of state. We want them to get into their cars or to go out to their family out of the state, out of the altered state, because an altered state is a suggestible state. And that's great when we're doing it intentionally with doing our spiritual work or doing our mindfulness or our calming or soothing work. But when we have to go out and be in the elements of the world and everything else, and also when we do need our logic, reasoning, analysis, decision making, and willpower, we need to be even I'm honestly, washing the dishes can be quite meditative, but we have to be careful because that's how you can cut yourself with a knife or break a dish and then cut your you know what I mean? So, we need to be, present to that beta brainwave level. We wanna get them there. And this is also the way that the work actually seals. So, the guide to return and wake is really important. So that is the steps, and then some post session, some options. You could invite them to do some journaling or sharing, ask questions, or to sit in some simple reflection and connecting with their inner insight and bringing it into a daily awareness. So again, this would be something you would do if you were actually live with people, and this also helps to anchor in that waking state. Well, the journaling piece is going to kind of take them into state again. So you might, well, maybe not again. It's going to rouse them to a certain level of state if they journal for a couple of minutes and then bring them up even brighter, bring them to a brighter level after the journaling. So, some notes here to keep in mind is some of the things that we have learned in especially talking about suggestibility, talking about hypnosis. Suggestibility is how people take in information, how they learn and how they receive information, how they receive suggestions. So your meditation guidance is suggestions. You're suggesting that they listen to the guidance that you have taken them in the inner realms to a beach. It's a suggestion. And everyone receives information in different ways. So in a group context, you want to lean toward inferential processing. The way to jog your memory, inference, how I correlated it with the human design chart is that the defined centers are the centers in those subjects that have more of an inferential kind of suggestibility, meaning they have a processing. So the other kind of suggestibility with the undefined centers is literal and direct. And what these look like are, if we're talking about emotional information, an inferential way to offer confidence to someone in a meditation is, and standing on this beach at this time, you have a sense that confidence is something that you could resource each day a little bit more. And you're becoming more curious about how confidence is showing up in all of these areas of your life and ways that you can enhance it even more. So, what happened there was I gave the permission to the person, to the meditator to consider, I turned it over to them. As you're standing on this beach, which is an imagery thing, you are able to imagine how confidence is showing up in your life, as opposed to saying, standing on this beach, you are certain of your confidence going forward. That is very direct. That is very literal. And for people who are highly literal, that actually is really helpful. But here's the thing is that, let me go ahead and take off since I'm talking a little bit. A person who is highly literal can can take in information inferentially. A person who is more inferential, it has a harder time with things that are literal because they need processing, you know? Now, that doesn't mean that we should always only do inference, because even if a person is more inferential, they have some literal ways that they receive information. And so we want to kind of emphasize the inference and still have some of the literal. So just think of literal as I am, and from this point you are confident and you feel the breeze. You see the sunlight. Those are very direct and literal. And a person who might need a little more process, a little more space to be able to create it for themselves, then you would say, and imagining one of those sunny days. And those sunny days tend to give you the sense of feeling more confident each day, building in your confidence. You see how I'm putting those buffers in there? So that's what you're going to emphasize in a group meditation, just because it can serve everyone. And then also add some of those literals. Another reason why, if you add some of those more direct ones a little deeper into the process, they may have been, they become more induced, more deeply in state. And deeper in state means they could receive some of those literals a little bit more easily. Now, the other thing is that imagery, telling a story of a place that a person is, or something along those lines where you're creating something that is a visual, or it's not only visual. Imagery isn't only visual, of course. As you say, we're on a beach. It's not just that you're seeing a beach, right? If you're on a beach, you're smelling it, you're feeling it, right? But guiding it that way, as long as you can do it as though you're telling a story, instead of saying, and now you're on a beach. You just, as if you're describing something to them. And it's as if you are on one of those days where the beach feels just right. And everyone has experienced one of those days with the waves coming up on the shore, with that really rhythmic and almost melodic sound of the ocean. And the sun when it's just right, that perfect kind of golden sunlight. So I'm describing it instead of saying, "You are seeing sunlight." And so imagery of that in that way, like telling a story, is something that works for everyone and can really communicate deeply to our beings. So that is some of the additional notes to keep in mind. And just the rest of this here says, give options for how a person may be experiencing their inner senses, such as saying visualize, sense, or imagine. So there are ways to avoid giving that imagery as a command. Instead, we describe. Instead of saying you do this, you are this, describe it. And as if you're describing a scene to someone. And that is a way that people can really just let themselves go. I have in this a meditation analysis, and this is utilizing a meditation of mine. It's called Unconditional Positive Outlook. And so what I did was I took the transcript of this meditation and I basically put it into each one of those sections. Now, the one thing that you can't see in this analysis is a part where I went silent for like 2 minutes, right? But I kind of just implied it here. For example, in the hold space and, and presence here, um, this is where that silence may have been in that place. And then, so I'll just, what you can do if you're able to is actually listen to the meditation without going into the meditative states too much. Not easy to, and read along here. So actually, I think I'm going to try and guide that for us. All right. So let's do that. I'm going to try and guide that, see if we can do it without going into meditation. So I'm going to provide a lesson for that, talking over it. And I'm not able to do it live right now. So that's why I'm kind of like saying, but I guess I'll just talk through this right now. I was trying to figure out if I could do it live, but I don't think I can. All right. Anyway. So in this, in the meditation, unconditional positive outlook, it starts with my key phrase, welcome to your sacred practice. This meditation, and this is the part again, if I would have done maybe even this before the session, but here's the thing, even if you do before the session, you can add it after you've asked them to close their eyes and get into the state. This meditation is a call to unconditional positive outlook, settling into calm, secure, comfortable position, and take those 3 big, deep breaths. So, obviously, starting the induction and just giving some of the imagery and the felt sense of air and some of those spiritual qualities of it. And now, with attention at the feet, visualize or imagine or have a sense that you would be standing comfortably, feet soaking up the ground. So, here's a different kind of body scan. But we're also obviously grounding here, traveling up now with intention and awareness. And so and I even just say like, um, oh, that's like a little bit of what's going on here is we're doing a progressive relaxation. And so it continues. And then we're deepening it with some of this imagery of as it ends the progressive, we are communing with the divine. We're creating magnetic energy between the sunshine and the energy. And at some point, we have this positive life force. So we're starting to get into the heart of the subject, the positive life force, and everything is unconditionally positive, right? There is the point of this meditation. Pick something in this space. This is where we're going into the hold the space and the presence. And as you sit and commune with the exchange of energies, welcoming in your companion. And so this is where I would have put the pause. And then coming out in a moment, the images begin to fade, moving into the embodiment even more. And in this one, I actually did the hypnotic count. So I went from 0 to 5. And that was the signal to come awake. And at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, and alert. So perhaps if you can, if you manage it, maybe you can do that on your own, some homework. This meditation, unconditional positive outlook, is in the Sacred Sphere meditation catalog. The other thing I have in this PDF is is a couple of spaces for reflections to take a few moments, jot down some ideas for meditation that you might lead, whether you've experienced them in something else. By the way, these are universal concepts. So you can make a meditation that's unconditionally positive outlook. You'll do it differently. You could do one that's, a cloud imagery meditation. Even if you've heard the one that I've done, you'll do it totally differently. You can do a chakra induction. You'll do it your way. So, yeah, just some space here for you to think of some different things that you could put into meditations, different kinds of imagery, or perhaps some phases or phrases that you would guide them into, phasing them into a different state and how you might do that. And then another prompt here is just to reflect on silence, pacing, and energetic presence and how this impacts a group experience and how you might facilitate to create more space and less instruction and just some space for you to just think about that, jot down some thoughts. So this is a PDF companion to this lesson. So that's what I have for you in this lesson. I hope you got some ideas, and I would love to hear them about how to lead a group meditation. Now, all you need to do is create those subjects and let them expand within those areas. Really, we're creating the induction, that subject, and we're letting it land a bit. And then how you might have a few different ways, or even, by the way, you can do the same induction and the same call out every time if you like. We're the ones who get bored of it. Our if we're working with people habitually, regularly, they don't get bored of it. You will need different imagery every time, different subjects. Yes, of course. So, intention, different imagery. And of course, the intention is what kind of transformation or shift or benefit that is the aim for that particular meditation. So, there you go. I hope you enjoyed. Hi there. I'm going to invite y'all to studio. Um, haven't given you the PDF yet because it's Mercury retrograde, giving me the hardest time. Like even the PDF I used, there was a typo on it. It said instead of take a moment, it said ache a moment. 'Cause I kept putting the T in there and it just like Canva was undoing it. So weird. So I'll be able to get it situated. I'm assuming it will be fine. I'll give it to you as it is anyway, even if I have some typos in it, and I'll fix it maybe later if I have to, but I'm assuming it'll work out. So, hi, Jamie. I've invited everyone to stage. If you want to come on in and have any questions or comments or ideas or anything at all, anything we want to talk about today.
I definitely have some questions. Um,
Great.
I just yesterday, this week I've done two. I don't know if I would call them meditations. I would call them journeys,
Yeah. Nope. Mhm.
and they were long, so almost 30 minutes, 25 minutes.
Mhm.
The first one I did an inner child journey, and I used a script,
Okay.
and it wasn't all the words, right? It was
Mhm.
more of an outlined kind of
Yeah.
script.
Right.
And then the second one, I forgot. I had told the client I was going to do it, and I wasn't prepared, and I channeled it.
Great.
And so I channeled it, and it was fantastic. It worked out
Awesome.
great.
Mhm.
But I came to the end of it, and I floundered. I suddenly couldn't remember how to pull her out, and I couldn't pull myself out. I just did the,
Mm.
wiggle your fingers and, come back to the room slowly. I didn't do the countdown or any of that. And I really never felt like I got out of state myself.
Hmm.
She seemed to, and,
Mhm.
we processed for a good while and then went on and talked about one other thing before she left. But came back and sat down to, jot notes about what we talked about and what I wanted to do next time. And I was just a blank. It's
Mm.
like, what happened? I don't remember. Just like after channeling, you just sort of
Mhm.
a blank spot there. That happened. And I wonder if you I don't know, have any suggestions on how to pull yourself out.
Were you in person, by the way, or
Yeah,
online? Okay.
yeah, right
Do you
here
re
in this room.
do you record the session?
No.
So, recording the session could be good in case you get amnesia. Even though you pull yourself out of state, you could still have amnesia afterward, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because you were in state, you know what I mean? I mean, that's the case with intuitive sessions where you're going in, you're surfing the state, you know what I mean? You're going in and
I
out.
was so embarrassed because, I usually write it in my notes. I gave her an affirmation,
Mhm,
but instead of writing it on my notes, I wrote it on a little Post-it note, and I gave her the whole little package of, the little tiny Post-it notes, and I
mhm.
said, "Use all of these and just put them all over your house and everywhere so you don't forget." And then I couldn't remember what I wrote down, and I had to text her and say, "What was that affirmation I gave you?" Like, I suppose I didn't have to know, but I did. I wanted to.
Yeah. Well, so far as the after session notes, if you record if I mean, record the sessions. Just have some kind of recording device in the room, and then you can transcribe those. Um, and I can give you a tip on a really inexpensive way to get to transcribe them, and then you can pop them into ChatGPT. You get a good prompt, and you say, make an outline of the session and what happened here, and then you might say, be sure to highlight what affirmations I gave her were, and then that way it'll just like really, sharpen it up, and you've got a nice little. I knew she was coming over here. I could feel it. She was, like, flopping around
We
over there, and I was like,
see
"She's
you,
coming."
Aliel. We see you. You're dead center. That's awesome.
So,
Okay,
there's
so my question about that
Mhm,
is, I used to record every time I did channeling and mediumship,
mhm,
and I used up all of my space in my phone.
yeah.
And so where do you get the space to do all that?
Me, 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 me. You need an external drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and, probably not on your phone, maybe have something for your computer, and then you put it you I have so many of these. You wanna see what else I have?
Oh,
Look at this big giant one.
oh,
And then these are extra things that go in this. If you're working with anything, if you're recording anything except for it documents, you need to have external drives. And yeah, your phone, like if you're gonna start to record anything, you wanna do it on your computer and then put it on an external drive. So this is 4 terabytes. This is a 4 terabyte solid state drive. I think it's like $200 or something like that. You can
okay,
get if you don't need that, you can get a 1 terabyte. Maybe you don't need solid state, but the reason this is I have the SSD is because they are faster, they function better. But if you're gonna record anything, just anything that's not documents, you wanna put it on a drive. Also, you wanna back up even if you're doing documents on your computer, you wanna back it up on your drive because your motherboard could fry on your computer and you're like, "What? I wrote, like, that amazing thing." You need a backup, and so everything goes on a drive. Keep very
okay,
little actually on your computer and, on your phone too, except for pictures because, obviously you wanna back up your pictures at some point too, but that's what the cloud usually does for us.
right.
So, if you get a little microphone that you can just put in the room for your computer, like, I've got one that's let me show you one. There's all kinds, you know what I mean? Like, just you can get like a, I don't know, Blue Yeti microphone, and I think those are and just look up Blue Yeti. They might even have versions that are even cheaper than the Blue Yeti. I think the Blue Yeti is about $80 or something like that, but you might be able to get a $40 microphone that you can plug into your computer, and you can just have it sitting on the table or somewhere in between you guys, and it'll pick it up. And because you don't need a quality recording, not so much like it sounds great, as just you just need to be able to hear it so that you can transcribe it, listen back to it if you ever needed to. And then, yeah, you will have the, Okay, so transcription. The cheapest transcription that I have found is Microsoft 365 Online. It's just basically like Microsoft Word and Excel and everything, but it's online, the 365 version of it. And it's like, I think it's $8 a month now, but there are unlimited transcriptions. And that's the cheapest thing I've ever found. Transcriptions used to be I mean, basically $1 a minute. It was like ridiculous the way they used to be, so expensive. And I'll bet you ChatGPT is going to be able to do that for us soon, but they're not quite there yet. They don't transcribe just like hours
But
of audio.
Microsoft Word will do voice notes.
But the difference is it does it when you speak. It does it live. So yeah, you could play the whole session live with your Microsoft Word open, but it's going to be like 1 hour.
It'll take the whole time.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's listening. Whereas Microsoft 365 Online, you upload it and then like
It's automatic.
yes, exactly. Well, it takes like, like an hour long audio will take like 30 seconds to transcribe.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's unlimited right now. And it's been that way for like a year and a half at least. It says it's like you have unlimited transcriptions. This may change in the future, but they haven't changed it yet, so thank goodness. Now, that's the cheapest one that I found. So then, yeah, you have a nice prompt that you create for ChatGPT, and you say, I'm going to attach the. And by the way, the other cool thing about the Microsoft 365 is that you can have it will do a transcription of just text with timestamps, text with speakers, or text with timestamps and speakers. And so then, like, I just did 3 sessions yesterday, and I give them the transcript of the session. And so I put it in there and I do timestamps and speakers. And so then it says speaker 1, speaker 2, and I just changed speaker 1 to Tricia and speaker 2 to Sally, you know what I mean? And then it just changes it through the whole document with the replace feature. And anyway, so like then ChatGPT, you have a prompt that you give it. You say, I'm uploading a transcription of my session with client so-and-so. Please outline the important parts of this session for my clinical notes, and be sure to highlight this part or this part, the affirmations or the part where I'm guiding her in a journey.
Okay.
And tell it to timestamp it too, for your sake, in case you want to go back and listen to something. Timestamp the different sections.
So how do you deal with
waking myself up?
You go into state when, I mean, you tell us that you do it with us. So how do you come out and teach?
Yeah. Well, it's habit. There's you're developing the habit with the intention. Little girl, I don't want you to do that. So, and it's funny that you say that, because I taught at HMI on Monday, and I did a demonstration, just a short demonstration, guiding a student, in a technique. And a student afterward raised his hand and he goes, "It looked like you went into state." I was like, "Yes, I definitely go into state." Also, because I'm so clairsentient that I have to like close my eyes in order. I don't have to, but I tend to close my eyes as I'm connecting deeper. And then I open my eyes and look again. I kind of like go like this a lot, but I do watch people when I'm guiding them, in person. I'm also watching them, but not the whole time, because I feel, and then I look at them to use my sensory acuity too. So for me, it's very visual. I go in deeper when I channel, probably. When you guys see me come out of channeling, I'm like, you know what I mean? And I just like give myself a beat, and then I'm like looking, and I'm like, okay, I'm back. And that's another thing I say, okay, hi, I'm back. And I'm kind of calling myself back too. I don't know if it's weird. Some people do this. I don't do this, but if you say your own name, you might bring yourself up. Okay, Lori's back. If you want to say that, you kind of make it fun. And if you laugh about it, it might make you laugh every time because it's silly. That will also change. That'll break your state.
Yeah.
So you might intentionally know that you have to intentionally change your tone the way that you would wake someone else up. You go like, okay, we're back. All right, we're back. And even if you feel like you're faking it, it'll bring you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I was just talking to my guide that did that with me the other day, and I asked him if he would like include that next time if we do anything like that again, to be sure to
Wake
say
me up.
something to pull me out. Yeah. Yeah, because I was just loopy,
Yeah.
really still there.
And maybe stand up and you say, oh, let's just stand up. And you can even, again, like as if you're guiding the client, which you are, but also, you're guiding yourself.
Yeah. Right. Okay, thank you. That was very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. So what else? What is else? Anybody have, Jamie, you lead meditations, right? You don't?
I don't know if I have.
Oh,
No, I want to.
okay, good.
So I just need to practice, I think.
Yeah. Well, you're doing, is it Monday coming up, right? You're going to be guiding,
The
or is it next month?
18th. Yeah, next month.
Next month, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that maybe?
Perhaps.
And well, you can, and here's the thing too, even now, but also in Sacred Sphere, you can either, if we want to do breakout rooms, you can go in and just even practice just the induction part. You don't even have to do a whole thing, or practice a middle part, or you can practice it in front of everyone. But we could practice it in classes too here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Time for that.
Okay. I
Yeah.
guess we did it like once in our glory in our group, where we kind of went around and we channeled. It was sort of like a prayer though, but
Yeah.
it felt a little bit like bringing through. But I realized I got nervous during it.
It was an invocation. I
Yeah,
think it was a group invocation, and we each
that's
took
what
a
it was.
part of it.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I remember y'all telling me about that. That sounded
Yeah.
amazing.
But I got more nervous during that than the actual like channeling part for some reason.
Because you were in
Really
state for the
interesting.
channeling.
Yeah, maybe I wasn't quite like in state. So I remember, especially toward the end for some reason. I think I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I want to practice. So
I think,
I actually, oh,
Mhm.
sorry.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a story / question. So I don't
Great.
want to derail anything.
Not at all. No,
Okay.
you're railing us.
I don't know if that's good. It's okay. So it's a story. I have permission to share it. My spiritual, like therapist, now she's more of a mentor. We exchange what she calls our ooey ooey stories every couple of weeks. And so she had a really interesting experience, and I was like, "Can I please bring this to my ooey ooey friends and see what they think?" And she was like, "Yes, sure, please." So this relates to what we were talking about Monday, and I had really terrible internet on Monday, but you were talking about holographs and like the holographic universe, and so she tells me last night that she's been in a shaman class, and they were talking about the holographic universe and what that entails, and she wasn't sure how much she like believed it or understood it, but she said she was driving on the highway, and she said there was an 18-wheeler in front of her, there was an 18-wheeler to her right, and it was at night. She saw, I guess, like peripheral vision. The 18-wheeler to her right came into her vehicle. Then she immediately like saw blackness, complete blank black. And she said it was longer than a second because she had that thought of like, what the fuck? But then everything, it reappeared. Her vision came back. but the 18-wheeler in front of her was gone, nowhere to be seen.
Whoa.
The one on the right was still there. And she had the immediate like thought or knowing that version of me just died.
Ooh, I got chills. I got chills before you even said die. I don't know. Wow.
So I asked because my mind was blown.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked, what's your perception of that? Like, did you get, and I wasn't sure what I was asking, but I was like, did you intuitively see that version die, or did you actually in that version die, and then you showed up in this new, like, your consciousness like showed up in this new version? But she, in thinking about it, she said that she just feels more at ease and at peace and not afraid, not anxious. She just feels like she's up leveled in her frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So she feels like maybe a lower frequency version of her died.
Oh, wow.
And she shifted up. So my I guess ask is for anybody to tap into that to see what they think or feel. Because I was like, I don't know.
It's either one of you, Courtney or Lori?
I'm getting a little. So what I'm hearing is that, right, that she didn't die, but she was saved by an angel or some entity saved her in that scenario, and there was a lapse in her consciousness in that moment because something had to change radically. That's what I'm hearing. What did you get, Tricia?
Well, what's interesting is it's like the awareness of the holographic universe and just that the infinite possibilities. And so, perhaps there's a couple of versions of me who died on the way to the studio today. You know what I mean? However, I didn't didn't collapse the, what you call it, with a waveform, it wasn't the waveform collapse, so that I had an awareness of it. So then the fact that there was the awareness of it, of the parallel timeline that bled over like a Venn diagram, you know what I mean? Like, and so it was shared, but then the paths went the way that they went. Obviously the soul, it very similar to what, both of you guys are saying, the soul wanted her to have that experience of death, of something being moved away so that she could map it consciously. I've had dreams and astral projections where I confront death. And sometimes that's what we confront in past lives too, because but with past lives, they don't tend to be as visceral as what she experienced. You know what I mean? Like where the consciousness, it's like, okay, yeah. So they're showing me like, it's like it was everything except her physical body experienced it. Like her astral body fully experienced it. That is the sense that it is like an astral projection, except that she didn't really project out of her body. It's just that her astral bodies of these two timelines fused. And that's why there was a lapse of senses. And yeah, so then okay, yeah. So it's this sense of splitting. We're always splitting, we're, as Bashar says, reality is that we're just selecting billions of times per seconds realities that already exist. They're potentials until we select them. But there were so many that stacked up of these potentials that there was this crossing over. And so everything except her physical body experienced it. And then it was like, put back onto this timeline. That is so amazing. So yeah, the reason why they're not relevant. That's why we don't, like, if I'm like, wait, am I going to go home or am I going to go to the store first? Both of those happen. And the one that I am aware of going on physically and with this full consciousness, it's not relevant to me to go on that one. That's why I don't remember it. And so this was relevant. So then it comes down to, why was it relevant? Well, she said it. A lower part of herself died. She has she has an upgrade. She has a different awareness now. Yeah. I don't think I really explained anything. I think it was just basically, yeah. But yeah, like that kind of stuff happens in sleep and dream and other kinds of liminal states. Yeah, like there's that one where there's a couple where I was like, I'm going to die. Another one happened pretty recently. It's like, I'm going to die. And I was like, okay, do I have to experience all the pain? Emotional, physical, and, I've been spared that, but I still confronted death in it. And that one the astral projection where I was like, I guess kind of in the Matrix. And I was like in this area, in this upper room. And there were these two, like, managers, and they're just like chatting, like, hi, oh yeah, that's where you get scared to death. Do you want to go there? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, you might die. I was like, well, I don't. And they're like, well, see, you think you get scared in your life. This is real fear. Do you want to feel real fear? Like, no. They're like, go ahead. I'm like, but what happens? And they're like, yeah, and you might die. And I'm like, but then if I die, and they're like, so what? And then they were just like, okay, honey. And then like went back to their conversation as if it was like so frivolous, my little fears.
But is that a value on human life that's very different in their realm? Like,
Well,
we clearly have a higher value on it than they do.
Well, yeah, it's not really that as much as there was just an emphasis on the value of existence because here's the thing. I don't value existence if I'm worried all the time. I'm not valuing my existence if I'm being in fear. I'm worrying. I'm actually living a form of death if I'm in worry, stress, or something like that, or some kind of fear. Right. And so they were just trying to like give me a counterpoint of existence. I think. Not like, I mean, I'm kind of being funny about how they were like, but I was like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, you might actually die. And I was like, well, we shouldn't do it. And they're like, I don't know. You seem to want to know what fear's like because you're always walking around like looking for fear. That was kind of the message. You know what I mean? Like, so you want to try it out? No. I was like, I'm close enough to it. I think I get it. But it was like this total choice. Like they were saying, you can do it if you want, but you seem to be asking for fear all the time. So anyway, yeah. But I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess I didn't take it as devaluing human life more than emphasizing the value of eternal existence. That's what it felt like to me. And they were nice. It was like kind of dismissed. It's like if a little kid is like, my whoopee, I lost. And you're like, oh, honey, it's okay. Like, you're not really like, oh my God, you lost it. You're kind of like not totally respecting their devastation because, it's not that big of a deal, even though you want to have some compassion. You're like, I know, honey. Right. That's what it felt like. It felt like I know, honey, to me.
Wow. Can I tell you something that you just reminded me of? So we have a group that we meet with, and Bashar came last week to our group.
What do you mean?
Like,
someone channeled?
I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought you meant like Daryl Anka showed up at something at your Hebrews, Healing Hebrews.
So I think it was Tara that came up with the question, like, can we be doing more? you know, as a group, like
Mhm.
as a collective. And so then we each reached out to get a message about that. What can we do as a group? And Bashar came to me, and I've never channeled Bashar. And he told us to, I was channeling, so I just wrote down like one sentence afterwards, but I vaguely recall that we're forming a group, like we'll create a YouTube page or somewhere where we can do more like global healing or things for larger groups and
Awesome.
entities rather than just each other or one person.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have the same kind of was it presented? You know what I mean, like a similar personality as he comes through with Daryl?
I don't know. I
Were
mean,
you there, Jamie? Yeah.
I would say it was similar. Not exactly. Maybe just because the energy and like Lori's energy, but I did feel like your voice. It did remind me uh, of
That's
Daryl
funny.
Avis version. Maybe less harsh though, because or maybe less blunt or like. Do
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Sometimes with
For sure. Yeah,
Bashar
he's
coming here, it's like,
very
oh
blunt.
wow, okay.
Mhm.
but I think it's funny because that's one of the things about me that bothers me a lot when I channel because, you know, I am kind of blunt in general. I'm kind of, you know, to the point, factual, don't beat around the bush a lot, not super flowery. Like Kate and I are total opposites in that regard. And I always want, you know, to be more flowery and descriptive and all that. And I'm not. So it's kind of fitting that I channeled him because we do share that quality.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I like both, but directness can be very comforting to me.
Well, not to everybody, but
Yeah, I know.
that's who I am. So, you know, if somebody's wanting to be around me, they're likely resonating with that, and that's good.
No,
So,
I love it. Sometimes your questions, you're like, "Trisha, I don't get it." And I it makes me laugh. I'm like, "Okay, good. Thanks. Thanks for
yeah.
I'd like to hear that, you know." Um, well, you know, and Daryl emphasizes that no one else channels Bashar but him. Just so you
Yeah, I know.
and I'm
And
not
I
saying
and
I
I
agree
asked
with him
him,
or
I'm
disagree
like,
with you. Yeah.
you know, I didn't want to go too deep, but I kept asking afterwards, like, was that really him? And
Mm.
they were like, yeah, it really was. And
I hear from him too. I
I'm
mean,
still not like, I don't know. We'll see when we gather tomorrow because I don't know if he'll come unless we're together. It felt kind of that way. Like I still only get Melchizedek when my partner and I are together.
mhm,
And he's instantly there whenever I'm with her,
mhm.
but instantly gone the minute she walks out the door.
And the thing is, I think, you know, he can't really say, and we're really talking about, like, again, a holographic infinite universe. There's a version of Bashar that wants to come through Lori. I think that the reason he says that, and it's a good reason, is so that people don't rip him off. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
so I think that's fair.
yeah, yeah, and certainly, you know, our intentions are well-meaning,
Mhm.
and we're
Yeah,
not trying to exploit him or
yeah. You're not trying to profit
publicize
off of
him.
yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
not about that.
In which case, that would also maybe be in alignment with, like, Daryl saying, "Hey, we have an agreement." And Bashar's like, "Okay, I'll honor our agreement, and there's these good intentions over here, so I'm gonna go and do some good work anyway." You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like,
mhm.
if Bashar really is a true, you know, living entity, then he has his own free will.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
right,
Daryl doesn't get to say what that is, and,
right.
so then maybe that's the caveat of the contract is that he would go to others who have the pure intentions, you know what I mean, and do that work. And also identify himself as Bashar because he knows that will be helpful to you guys because you know that you have, you know, like, there's authority, there's credibility, so that would benefit you to listen.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
still have my doubts, but, you know,
Why? No,
whatever.
it's great.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Whoever it was, it doesn't matter if it was Bashar. The message is really what matters, and we all resonated with the message.
So you guys going to start a YouTube channel, a collective YouTube channel? Is that what I'm hearing?
Maybe something like that. I've got a name for us that I haven't presented to the group yet, but I promised I would look for one, and one came. So we meet tomorrow, and we'll see where it goes from there.
That's so cool. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And it's the 4 of you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But Kate wasn't there last week. There was only 3 of us.
Okay.
So she had a gig that day. So she doesn't know that story yet. And it was too much to put into a text message. So we'll just tell her the whole thing when we gather and go from there. That's
awesome. I love it. Yeah. Jamie, did you have something else with that story in question, or did I feel like I started talking so much. Okay.
No, y'all helped me.
Okay.
We're just looking at gathering.
And when did she tell you that story?
It was last night.
Oh, interesting. After Monday, after we were talking about it already. I mean, holographic universe, at least. Yeah.
So for us, it was like a shared kind of synchronicity and like, okay, well, we need to pay more attention to this. And then we both had an awareness at the same time that somehow this concept of the holographic universe relates to our political situation right now. And like some of the global stuff happening.
Oh, yeah.
But we were like, we don't know exactly how, but I went ahead and this is for anybody who's interested. The Internet Archive has the holographic universe and the divine matrix available for download. So I just went ahead and got them both.
The Internet Archive is the name of a website or something?
internetarchive.org. So it's pretty cool. Sometimes you can just kind of check out a book, like online, like just a PDF for like a short amount of time, and you have to return it. You don't pay anything, like it's free. And then sometimes some of the books they have uploaded, you can just access for free and download them. And those just happen. There's like links there at the bottom. And
cool.
And you know, from what I know, it's legitimate. You know, nothing sketchy. It's just
like a lending library that the authors probably. Yeah, there's some authors that both sell and give away their work at the same time. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I looked at other books by Greg Braden, and you know, some of the other ones weren't available to download, but you could check them out. Or like, so
cool. Okay, cool. Wait, who is the holographic universe? Is that Greg Braden too?
That's Talbot.
Yeah, I think I might have that one. It just sounds so familiar, and that name sounds familiar too. I may have it in my Kindle library, just like from so long ago. It's older, right? It's been around a while.
Yeah, I want to say it said 53, and I was like, is that?
It's really been around a while.
That's like a long time, but yeah.
That's cool. Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Courtney, how are you?
I am good. I'm glad that we had that subject tonight on meditation because I have a persuasive speech I have to do. And I was thinking about doing it on meditation. So
great. Yeah. I'll get the PDF to you. Sorry, Holly, I had myself on full screen. I didn't see that you had joined.
No worries.
Okay, great. Yeah, I will get you the PDF like within 10 minutes after class. I just want to see if I can fix that typo. And even if the typo's not fixed, then whatever. But you can totally use that as the foundation and then whatever way you want to or not.
Yeah. It'll be perfect. I did one today and I did it on master plant dietas. And I talked about Rose and my dieta with her, and I brought a dozen roses and handed them out to the class.
Oh,
and it went really well. So I was terrified, but I did it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got to go because I got to go pick up Sydney, but I will see you all later. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Courtney.
Hi, Holly. Nice to see you.
Hi, you too.
Again, got to see you on Monday. Yeah. I heard that you met with Mary and you'd forgotten that I had recommended her to
I
you.
did. I did. So for whatever reason, like when you sent the recommendation, I didn't look at it right away because I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to work with anyone. And then I was like, I should scroll back and find that. But then I happened to come across her on YouTube and I didn't connect the two. So I
know,
reached
so cool.
out, I met with her. I'm still not, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. I'm like, I liked what she had to say. I don't know. I'm feeling very like protective of what's happening. And I'm like just being very cautious with how I proceed with it. I don't know. There's something stopping me. So I don't know if I'm going to move forward with it or not. But
you'll know if it's right or when it's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I told her I just need some time. Like I feel like it's not the right time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm definitely still on the roller coaster and I do feel like I need support, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But I like, she does hypnosis. It's obviously cool.
Yeah. So what happened was Mary is, Holly shared this happened in class. So that's why I'm not telling Holly's business. She actually,
Yeah.
that she is having a twin flame experience. And I said, I know a twin flame coach. And I gave her, and her name's Mary, and I gave her, but then Holly met with Mary and didn't remember that I had recommended her, but they figured it out somehow. How did you guys figure it out?
Because she told me she does hypnosis, and I was like, wait, did you study at HMI? And she's like, I did. I was like, do you know Tricia Carr?
Small world.
Yeah. And I told Mary, I was like, hey, I like this for 3 reasons. Obviously, the spiritual synchronicity of it. Second of all, maybe the algorithm that is actually working for us because you found her on YouTube and I follow Mary and you probably follow me on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I like that that business is working for us too. And I said also to Mary, I'm like, also, you're the premier twin flame coach. That's why she found you. And she's like, oh, thank you. I like that.
It was very synchronistic. I don't know why I'm like, I don't know.
Well, it just might not be the right time. Yeah.
I think the timing's off, but yeah.
Okay, I had an interesting it's so funny. It's one of those things where it's like an awareness or something kind of an epiphany, but at the same time I'm like, this is as old as the hills and I've already heard this, but it landed with me in a different way. And it was I was needing some technical support from somebody. And I work with this person, on something technical in my business. And I was like, I asked a question. I was like, hey, it looks like this is going on and it seems to be a glitch. And I've done this, this, and this, and I can't get it to work. Can you look at it? And it's this person's responsibility. And this person, while being more technically advanced than I am, I'm not a beginner. And even in the way that I asked the question, they should have been able to see, even if they didn't know who I hadn't worked with me before. And this person kind of just gave me this pat answer of, well, you're going to need to save it and you're going to need to refresh and log out and then also reset your cache. And then you have to open an incognito window. And I'm like, those are all very basic things. It's like you have to put your shoe on your foot and then you have to tie it. And then you have to stand up, that's what that was like for me. And that's where some people are. And I was like, yeah, sure. However, I didn't even change anything. It's like something that you didn't fix. Anyway, the thing is, the person, for lack of a better word, assumed I was kind of an idiot in the situation. Therefore, they came off as an idiot. You know what I mean? And I was like, ooh, where in my life am I making assumptions? And then therefore, that assumption is reflecting on me. And I'm like, for me, I'm like, I'm assuming that nobody wants to buy my stuff. Not nobody, but nobody wants to buy my stuff. Therefore, I look like I don't want anyone to buy my stuff. You see what I mean? Like something like that. And so I just thought I would share that with you guys. And it was to me like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, and I had to this person, I was like, yeah. And then and I had to answer. And like Brian was there with me. And I was like, seriously, these are the questions. Do they even know you? Because I said, hey, I just ran a marathon and the finish line was a little off. Can you help me? And they go, well, did you put on your shoes? Yeah, I can put on my shoes. I'm a marathon runner.
Yeah.
Because assuming that the assumption that I'm not at a certain level, then made it so that they couldn't take in the depth of my question. And then it seemed like they were at a very low level. You know what I mean? It's just, I'll leave it to you guys if there's an issue in your life where you're like frustrated, is this the holographic universe? What are you saying about that? Like I'm saying, you know, what's another thing that I'm saying? Like, oh, I know what it is. Well, I met with some high school friends this past weekend, and there's this one high school friend who's not, I've always felt like he has a problem with me. Well, actually, he's demonstrated he has a problem with me a few times. And so while I was driving there, I was like, oh no, Michael's going to be rude to me. And so then I decided to let it go. But if I'd carried that through, Michael would have thought I was being rude to him. You know what I mean? Like it would have just shown up that way for him. And it's not just because I'm a reflector. It's just that's the reciprocity. That's the law of reciprocity. And I did drop it, and Michael was not. I didn't find him to be rude to me at all. And yeah, it worked out really well.
It's kind of really central to the twin flame journey, honestly.
Oh,
it's
totally. No, I thought about that.
Mirroring all the time. We're all mirroring each other all the time, you know?
Yeah, I definitely thought about that when I noticed that today, because Mary and I talk about that a lot. And I'm like, yeah, that's the case. And she goes, yeah, I know. It's basically what the universe is like, but there's an intensity to it with the twin flames. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the decision I just reached right before this call that I was still kind of on the fence about, but now hearing your story, I'm like, no, this is the right decision. Like I had made the decision to like, you know, basically stop communicating with this person because it was hurting me, and still really felt the need to like explain. I'm like, he's not going to understand. He's not going to understand how he hurt me until I explain it to him, you know? And then I'm like, okay, but if he's essentially like me, why am I not giving him enough? I'm not giving him very much credit. You know what I mean? I'm like, why am I assuming he's such an idiot that he's not going to realize, like sit with it and go like, oh, I was really disrespectful. Like that was, you know, I've been really like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So in this, it's like, if you have to tell him that he's disrespectful, it's going to come off as disrespectful from you. You're going to seem disrespectful.
It's like almost condescending. It's like, and maybe he's not going to realize it on the timeline I would like, but
that's none of your business.
Enough respect for him to realize that he's going to get it at some point. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. And also like, why would I waste this kind of, I mean, I think it's partially the Chiron and Gemini thing. Like I'm like, have this constant fear of being misunderstood. And it feels like, wait, okay, maybe this is an opportunity to go, this is like a waste of my energy.
Well, and also, yeah, if you are balancing your energy and understanding yourself, you don't need someone else to understand you.
Right. It's like, I'm looking for that validation that I'm probably not even going to get.
Yeah.
So yeah. I just realized I was like, no, I can just send a really short message and say, I meant what I said. I can't do this anymore. When you're ready for an honest conversation, let me know. Like, otherwise you're not going to hear from me. And that to me feels more empowering than like getting on a call and trying to explain why I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't you work with him?
I do. So, I mean, so yeah, I have to. So thankfully, he's about to go on paternity leave for 3 months.
Oh.
So. Yeah. Yeah.
This is interesting.
And you work with him and you do, I mean, I think your company's really big. So you see each other regularly within work?
Yeah, we have a weekly call. We work on a project together, but it's a team call, but I had weekly one-on-ones with him and I canceled them. He was like doing this thing of like dangling the connection in front of my face. Like he most recently invited me to Asheville and then was like, oh wait, maybe not. Maybe I should think this through. And then just didn't get back to me. Like never for like the whole weekend, just never. It was just really disrespectful, you know? It was the second time he'd done that. And I was like, wait a second, I wouldn't let other people treat me that way. Why am I was like sitting here, like trying to manifest this invitation. Then I was like, wait, this person hasn't even earned my time.
So you're not respecting yourself. Yeah.
Then I'm not respecting myself. Exactly. So I was like, wait. I don't even want to go.
Yeah. Carson's moving to Asheville in 3 weeks, by the way.
Oh, really? I do actually want to go. I have friends in Asheville, and I do want to go visit them.
Oh,
But
she would love to see you.
yeah, that would be cool. So yeah, I'll have to hit her up when I'm there because I am probably going to go soon.
Yeah. She sent me a screenshot of a place that's walking distance from her new house. That is a Black Cat Magic Cafe. So it's magic store. It's a partial magic store and also has adoptable black cats.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
How unique.
Oh, I love it so much.
You can get really good deals on housing right now in Asheville.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Because there was something that happened. Was there a flood or something?
Partially destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still in really rough shape, I think.
Mhm.
But when I was looking for housing, I was like accidentally looking in Asheville at one point because it was in my search history, and I like put in a request and I got a phone call like, yes, we have availability. And I was like, wow, this apartment's really nice and a lot cheaper than I thought it would be. It's because it was in Asheville. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure like it's still Asheville. Like there's, you know, really great people there to connect with. It's,
Mhm.
you know, it's beautiful there. It's
Yeah.
just, it was devastated by the flood.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did love it there.
Hey, Jamie, did you tell me to listen to the telepathy tapes too? Did you listen to telepathy tapes? Yes, I'm listening to it now.
Keep hearing about that. Okay, that's on my list.
Yeah.
Keep hearing about it.
It's really, I'm on episode 3 right now. It's really interesting because in one way I'm like, duh, you know what I mean? But it's also really fascinating and beautiful because it's about the community of non-speakers, nonverbal, autistic children, and adults. But I was talking to Melanie, who is my landlady here, and she mentioned it. She's like, the telepathy tapes are wild. And I was like, okay, you're the 1000th person. Okay, I'll start listening to it. And I had like a long drive on Saturday. And she has an autistic daughter who is verbal now, but she didn't have language for a bit. But there's this in like episode 2 or 3, they start talking about these non-speakers. They meet on a hill, like spiritually, like,
Right.
and they talk telepathically. And so I was telling Melanie's like, what's it like then when you talk to animals and stuff? And I was like, well, actually we meet on a path. It's kind of similar to meeting on a hill, but we meet, to me, it's a similar or same path. And it becomes a anchor for that. Yeah. How much did you listen to, Jamie? Because there's like 3 seasons now, right? Or there 2?
I definitely stopped. I think I need to get back to it. I probably stopped on like episode like 4 or 5, so I need to get back to it.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I have a friend with 4 autistic boys.
Wow.
They're all grown men now. But I've been waiting for her to listen so we can have a conversation about it.
Have you listened to it too?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
I think I've only listened to the first 2 or 3. But I sent the one with the kid and the mom and that whole conversation. I don't know which episode it was, but that was the one I was like, oh my God, she's got to listen to this. Yeah. She was an advocate for other families and, you know, to help with schools and all that. And I think she'd find it fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And apparently there's an animal communicator later in this season. And so so we keep listening. It'll be fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. And it's like, I think, and I've always said, and I told Melanie this too, I was like, my very first class that I ever created was a telepathy class. And I made it in like 2015. And in that class, I can play it for you guys. I say that and I say it in the animal communication, when I think what sets humans apart from, being able to retain telepathy is our language centers, is language, because it captures our attention in the physical realm and in physical communication with so much detail because of how much language we have, how many words and how much language we have. And it's also what keeps us non-present. We're in the past and the future all the time. And so to me, it's like, isn't shocking at all that autistic or non-speaking people are, they don't lose touch with their telepathy.
It's fascinating.
They do, mwah, mwah, mwah.
She's so cute.
She is so cute.
She's got so much personality.
She does. She's really silly. She says, "Who, me?"
I feel like she knows we're all watching her.
She does. She definitely does. Yeah.
She's showing off.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally.
I have got to scoot. Thank you,
Yep.
Tricia. That was a great class.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'll get you this PDF right away. Thanks for coming,
we will.
guys. Love you guys, and see you Monday, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
See you
bye.
then.